Hey guys, this video will be a quick tutorial on how to make Bluey in size 6 to 12 months. As always, if you like, don't forget to subscribe. So for this character hat, you're going to need an H hook, a G hook, some scissors, and a threading needle. I will list all of the items in the description. For the Bluey hat itself, I use the Karen in Midnight Blue. I also use the Karen 1 pound in Sky Blue. And then you can use any worsted weight number 4. I like to use the loops and thread in white and in gold. And also you're going to need some scraps in black. You don't need a lot of black, so any little would do. Again, worsted weight number 4. So with your H hook, you're going to take your Midnight Blue and we're going to work a magic circle. This is how I work my magic circle. And then we're going to chain 2. Real quick to note, the chain 2 does not count as a stitch. It's just like a placeholder, so we're not including it in our double crochet counts. In this magic circle, after you chain 2, you're going to work 9 double crochets. Again, that's 9 double crochets. I will also have the written pattern available on my website at priscillascraftshop.com. That will also be linked in the description in case you are a little more advanced and you don't want to go so slow with me and you just rather have it written out. You can find that there. All right, once you've done your 9 double crochets, we're going to take our short end and we're just going to pull that closed. And then we're going to join with a slip stitch into our first double crochet. Again, that chain 2, that's just a placeholder. We're not doing nothing with that, okay? Chain 2 again. This next row is going to be an increase. And we're going to work 2 double crochets in each stitch. So 2 in the same stitch as that chain 2, 2 in the next, 2 in the following. And that is going to give you a total of 18 double crochets. I'm trying something a little different this time. I'm going to go a little slower. I know a lot of people complain about me going a little too fast in the videos. So I'm not going to be in a rush this video and I'm not going to go, flying through it. So once you've done your last double crochet, which should be your 18th one, you're going to slip stitch into your first double crochet and then you're going to chain 2. This next row is another increase and it's going to be 2 double crochets in one stitch, 1 double crochet in the next. 2, 1, just like that. And that's going to give you a total of 27 double crochets. So you're doing them in sets of 3s. You can continue counting like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 so you get to 27, or you can just do 1, 2 in one stitch, 3 in the next, 1, 2 in one stitch, 3 in the next. Whatever is easier for you. All right, so once you're done with your 27th double crochet, we're going to slip stitch into that first double crochet, chain 2. Now this row is going to be another increase, and it's going to be worked 2 double crochets in the first stitch, 1 double crochet in the next 2 stitches. So that's 2 double crochet, double crochet, double crochet, 2 double crochet, double crochet, double crochet. And this will give you a total of 36 double crochets. And again, counting it is however you're comfortable. You can do 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like that. Whatever you feel comfortable. Join with a slip stitch into your first double crochet once you're done with your 36 double crochets. And we're then going to do another increase. This time is of 5s. So you're going to work 2 double crochet in the same stitch, 1 in the next 3, for a total of 5. So that's 1, 2 in the same stitch, 3, 4, 5. So again, that's 2 double crochet in the first stitch or in the same stitch, and 1 double crochet in the next 3 stitches. And this is going to give you a total of 45 double crochets. And again, you can count them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, like that. Or you can just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whatever you feel comfortable with, whatever works for you. I normally just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just because I have a busy household. I have 3 kids, I have 2 dogs, and I will lose count somewhere along the lines. So if I just keep it on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then I kind of know where I'm at all times. And that's just what works for me. We're going to be doing, again, 45 double crochet in this round. All right, join with a slip stitch and chain 2. This next increase is going to be by 6s. So we're going to work 2 double crochets in the same stitch, 1 double crochet in the next 4 stitches. So that's going to be 1, 2 in the same stitch, 3, 4, 5, 6 in their each individual stitch. I hope that makes sense. For a total of 54 double crochets. Again, 2 double crochet in one stitch, 1 in the next 4 stitches. Like 6s, basically. 2 and then 4. That's 6. So that's why I say 6s, if that makes sense. And you're just going to complete that around, again, for a total of 54 double crochets. All right, we're going to join with a slip stitch into our first double crochet and chain 2. This next round is not an increase. We are just going to work 1 double crochet in each stitch around for another total of 54 double crochets. All right. I've had a few people ask me in the comments if they could skip this part. You can. It's up to you. I like to do this. I kind of feel like it gives it an even look. But this is completely up to you guys. However you guys feel comfortable, you can do your base however you want. I know some people prefer to do it half double crochet rather than double crochet. Some people prefer to do it single crochet. Whatever's your preference, that's up to you. I'm just showing you how I did it. You can take what I'm doing and kind of break down the colors in whatever aspect you feel comfortable doing. That's fine. All right. So we're just going to work 1 double crochet in each stitch around. All right, we're going to join with a slip stitch into our first double crochet and we're going to chain 2. This next round is going to be our last increase for this size. Once again, we're doing size 6 to 12 months. I have the playlist included with the different sizes, but for this video, 6 to 12 months, this will be our last increase, and it's going to be an increase of 10. So we're going to work 2 double crochets in the same stitch, 8 double crochet. I said that wrong. It's 2 double crochets in the same stitch, 1 double crochet in the next 8 stitches. So you're going to be doing it in groups of 10. So 1, 2 in the same stitch, and then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then 1, 2 in the same stitch, and continue around to do it, around until you get to the end. And you're going to have a total of 60 double crochets. And you're just going to keep doing that. 2 in the same stitch, 1 in the next 8. All right, once we're done with our 60th double crochet, we're going to slip stitch and chain 2. And now I want you to kind of take a look to see how many rows you have so far. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We are going to continue working this navy blue, this midnight blue color, until we get to row 10. So we already have 8 rows. We have to get to row 10. So we need to work 2 more rows. And since we're not doing any more increases, that is just going to be 1 double crochet in each stitch around for 2 more rows. All right, so that's 60 double crochets in each round, and we're going to do 2 more rows. I want you to get to a total of 10 in this midnight navy color, and I will see you back here once you have it done. All right, we have reached our 10 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is what your hat should look like. I'm just going to give you some quick measurements. If you flatten it out from the bottom, the widest part, it should measure around 8 inches. And from the top to the bottom, it should be around 5 inches. All right. Again, this all goes according to how you guys crochet, how tight, how loose, but this is my measurements. So this is how I join my light blue color. So we're going to take our sky blue. And you see I didn't join in that last stitch. I'm going to insert my hook as if I'm going to join, except I'm not going to pull up the navy blue. I'm going to pull through with the sky blue color. And I'm just going to pull that through and tighten everything up. And then I'm going to chain 2. And we're going to continue to work 1 double crochet in each stitch around for a total of 60 double crochets. And again, yes, you're going to work a double crochet in that same stitch as that chain 2, because again, that chain 2 is just a placeholder. And we're going to continue to go around. We're going to do this for a total of 3 rows. So you're going to have 3 rows of the light blue color. And this will give us a total of 13 rows in our hat. And we're going to do the same thing as we were doing with the navy blue, which is slip stitching right into our first double crochet, chaining 2, working a double crochet into that same stitch as that chain 2, and going all the way around. All right, I'm on my last and final row, which is row 3 of the light blue, and row 13 total of my hat. All right, I'm finishing up my last row of my hat. And I'm going to slip stitch into the first stitch, and I'm just going to chain 1, and I'm going to just put my hat down because I want to just measure for you guys what my measurements are. So we're going to count 10, 11, 12, 13. You should have 13 rows, okay? And I just want to measure for you guys so that, again, we're kind of on the same page. Your measurements might not be exact to mine because we all crochet a little different. But from the bottom, the widest part, it's about 8 inches. And from top to bottom, I want to say 6 1/4, 6.5-ish. I had to straighten it to show you guys. It's about 6 1/4. So that's my measurement for 6 to 12 months, just in case you guys are wondering. So now we're going to work on our ear flap, okay? So I already had you chain 1 before. You're going to work one single crochet in the same stitch and 1 in the next 11. So you have a total of 12 single crochets. Chain 1 and turn. This next row is a decrease, so you're going to work 2 single crochets together and then 1 single crochet in the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and those last 2 we're going to single crochet them together. Chain 1 and turn. This row you're going to work 1 single crochet in each stitch across for a total of 10 single crochets. Chain 1 and turn. Another decrease. The first 2 single crochets go together, 1 single crochet in the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and those last 2 we're going to single crochet together. Chain 1 and turn. You're going to work 1 single crochet into the next 8 stitches. Chain 1 and turn. This next row is another decrease. Single crochet together the first 2 stitches, 1 single crochet in the next 4, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and those last 2 we're going to single crochet them together. Chain 1 and turn. This next row is going to be 1 single crochet in the next 6 stitches. Chain 1 and turn. This next row is going to be a decrease, so the first 2 single crochets together, single crochet in the next 2, and then those last 2 we're going to single crochet them together. Chain 1 and turn. Now you're going to work 1 single crochet into the next 4 stitches. Chain 1 and turn. Single crochet together those first 2 stitches and then single crochet together those last 2 stitches. Chain 1 and turn, and we have our final decrease. Single crochet those 2 together, and you are done with your first ear flap. Fasten off. Okay, so now I'm going to do the next ear flap, and first I'm going to set it up with a standing single crochet. So this is how I do my standing single crochet. I just put my loop on my hook. This is the back piece of it, and we want to count from the front. So I look to where my ear flap actually begins, and then I count from the next stitch over, and we're counting 19 stitches. Once you get to 19, insert your hook into the following one. Now you can do a chain 1 and a single crochet. I just find it easier to do the standing single crochet. And again, we're going to work 12 single crochets across. Chain 1 and turn. We're going to work a decrease. We're going to single crochet together the first 2 stitches, work 1 single crochet in the next 8 stitches, and then single crochet together those last 2 stitches. Chain 1 and turn. You're going to work 1 single crochet in the next 10 stitches. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Chain 1 and turn. Another decrease. We're going to join together those first 2 with a single crochet in the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and those last 2 we're going to join together and chain 1 and turn. 1 single crochet in the next 8 stitches. Chain 1 and turn. Another decrease. That's better. It was a little zoomed in there. So join those 2 first together, single crochet, 1 single crochet in the next 4, and then join those last 2 together with 1 single crochet. And chain 1 and turn. You're going to do 1 single crochet in the next 6 stitches. Chain 1 and turn, single crochet together the first 2, 1 single crochet in the next 2 stitches, and then single crochet together those last 2 stitches. Chain 1 and turn, work 1 single crochet into the next 4 stitches, chain 1 and turn, single crochet together the first 2 stitches, single crochet together the last 2 stitches, chain 1 and turn, single crochet together those 2 remaining stitches. And fasten off. And the base of your hat is almost complete. We still have the single crochet all around the edging. So again, I go in with my standing single crochet. You could do a chain 1 and then a single crochet. This is just my preference. This is the back because that's where we joined. And I'm going to fold my hat sideways. So this is the back. And I'm just going to find my center in the back. You can see the seam. And that's where I'm going to join my hook. And I'm just going to do 1 single crochet across the hat. Going up the side of the ear flap, I don't drive myself too crazy. I fit it in where I can fit it in. I try to see where there's little holes for me to put it into, just so that it makes it even on both sides. But really, I don't drive myself crazy. So then when you get to the top part, that you have that 1 single crochet there, I work 2 single crochets into that top part. Again, this is just a preference. I feel like it rounds it out. That's how I like it. You can just do one and leave it pointing. So this is your string from your fastened off ear flap. So I like to single crochet it along the ear flap. It just secures it better for me. It makes it easier when I'm fastening off all of my extra pieces, and it just looks neater in my opinion. So I just hold it along the side of the ear flap and I single crochet with it up against that side. So now once I'm done with the side of the ear flap, I just give that a pull and continue single crocheting around to the front of the hat. I'm sorry, you guys. I live in New York and this weather has been a little all over the place. It has my asthma acting out of control. There is no amount of albuterol or nebulizer that has been able to help me with this cough. Again, at that very top of that one single crochet, we're going to work two single crochets up there. And again, I'm going to single crochet this extra string from when we fasten off the ear flap. I'm going to single crochet it up against the ear flap. Sometimes you have to like really hold it down because it will get in your way. The other one behaved itself. This one was acting a little difficult. And I'm at the end, so I just give it a little pull and continue on my way, now single crocheting the back half of the hat. Well, the portion that's left, because that's where we started from. All right, you're going to join with a slip stitch into your first single crochet and fasten off. And you guys, we're done with the base of the hat. All right, so this is how I like to kind of fasten off my ends. I just like to show you guys in case you're really new to crocheting, you're not really sure how to make it look neat. I kind of just insert it back into that same stitch and kind of go through some of the back loops, and then I tie 3 knots. 3 tight knots have always worked for me. I have multiple children who have worn all of my hats throughout the years, and their hats last. I haven't had an issue with them breaking anything, and there are boys who pull and tug and are not really gentle with anything. So we want to tie up this little part here where we had our joining of the changing the colors. And then I come across to this ear flap that has the 2 strings, and I kind of just sew along the back loops just so that you can't see it in the front. And you'll see once I pull that through, you can't see that in the front. We want this to kind of be hidden, right? I do the same thing with this side. meet the other part, and then I tie it 3 times. Now we're going to go to our other ear flap. There should only be 1 string there. So for that, this is how I fasten this part off. Kind of give it a tug. I go through the back loops again, like I did before, except I'm coming around kind of within itself. I'm not going across them. I'm going through 2 back loops, and then I'm going to loop it into itself. So a few back loops, loop it within itself. And I do that about 3 times just to get it really nice and snug. And again, I swear by this because my kids don't break their hats. So now we get to the top of our hat. We're going to give that a nice little tug to make sure that our magic circle is fully closed. We don't need any surprises. We don't need anything opening up. And I do the same thing as I did before. I kind of go through some loops and then loop it within itself. So I go through the loop it within itself. And that's just what I continue to go around and do. Be careful not to go through it to the point where you're pulling out from the front, because then you will pull it so tight and it will kind of make a gap in the area. You don't want that. So our hat is done. This is our back piece because this is where we have tied our single crochet from what we did, go around it. And this is what your base for your bluey will look like. And now it's time to work on the accents. But I just love how clean it looks. You can't really tell like where we did our join, which is really nice. All right, so now we have our base, and we have to add our ears, our eyes, our middle piece, our eyebrows, our snout with our nose, and just all of the things that make Bluey Bluey. So for that, we're going to take our midnight blue, and we're going to take our H hook, and we're going to work on the ears. That's normally what I start out with. And you are going to chain 9. Once you chain 9, you're going to single crochet in the second chain from hook for a total of 8 single crochets. Chain 1 and turn. You're going to work a single crochet together in the first 2 stitches, and then you're going to work 1 single crochet in the next 4 stitches. Then you're going to work a single crochet together in those last 2 stitches. Chain 1 and turn. Now you're going to work 1 single crochet in the next 6 stitches. 6, not stick. I'm going to blame that on the asthma too. Now you're going to chain 1 and single crochet the first 2 stitches together, and then work 1 single crochet in the next 2 stitches and single crochet together those last 2 stitches. Chain 1 and turn. You're going to work 1 single crochet in the next 4 stitches. Chain 1 and turn. Single crochet together the first 2 stitches single crochet together those last 2 stitches, chain 1 and turn. Do 1 single crochet in each of those 2 stitches, chain 1 and turn, single crochet together those last 2 stitches. All right, and that's your first ear, and you're going to want to make another one in the same blue color. All right, so we have both of our blue ears done, and I decided that I'm going to do it for you in this color as well. So you need to have 2 ears in blue and 2 in gold. So you're going to chain 9, and then in the second stitch from your hook, you're going to single crochet 8. This gold portion is going to go on the inside of the blue part to make Bluey's ear. I just figured maybe you guys might have an easier time seeing it in gold than the blue. So we're going to work 8 single crochets. Chain 1 and turn. We're going to join those first 2 single crochets together and then do 1 single crochet in the next 4 stitches. And then single crochet together those last 2 stitches. Chain 1 and turn. You're going to work 1 single crochet in the next 6 stitches. Chain 1 and turn. You're going to single crochet together those first 2 stitches, 1 single crochet in the next 2 stitches, and then single crochet together those last 2 stitches. Chain 1 and turn. You're going to work 1 single crochet in the next 4 stitches. Chain 1 and turn. Single crochet together those first 2 stitches and single crochet together those last 2 stitches. Chain 1 and turn. 1 single crochet in the next 2 stitches, and then do your last decrease and single crochet together those 2 stitches. And then fasten off, and you have the inside of Bluey's ear completed. So you're going to do another one in gold like that. So now once you have all 4 pieces, this is normally how I like to hide my excess yarn, because we have to single crochet around the ears. So what I do is with my gold, since this is the front part and this is the part that we're going to see, I go in through the back and I turn it around. This is the back, and I kind of go through the loops in the back to bring it all the way down, being very careful so that you can't see it in the front, and not too tight because you don't want to pull the very top single crochet portion. So you take your other side and you do the same thing. You kind of go through the back loops. And for this, you have to be very careful not to do it too tight, because then it'll kind of squeeze it into itself because it's such a small piece. So I normally do my first knot very light, and then my second one gets a little tighter. And I only do 2 knots because this is going to go on the inside. So that's my gold. Now for my blue, because you see how the back of it is covering it, For my blue, in order to hide the string, I'm not going to put it to the back. I'm going to put it to the front because that's where the gold part is going to sit on. And we want to have everything covered so that the kiddos can't pull on it, can't do any of that. So I do the same thing. I pull it through, but this time I go through the front and I go through all the little front loops just to get it. So that when you look at the ears from the back, it looks normal. You can't tell that there's anything going on. Again, be careful not to tighten the knot too tight. The first one. The second one you can, but you just don't want it to kind of shrink into itself. 2 knots. And this is what it's going to look like. That's my back piece. That's where I did my knot. And I put it together. And then I take my midnight blue and I'm going to single crochet around the hat so that I could put it together. So this is my top part of the ear. This is my bottom. I'm going to start single crocheting on the bottom towards the right side of the ear. This is just a little tip that I'm going to tell you guys because it makes it easier for me. And I feel like if it makes it easier for me, it might make it easier for you. So for this first ear, I start on the bottom on the right side. And I'm just going to single crochet all around the ear. When you get to this top portion, this one single crochet on the top, you're going to work a single crochet, a chain 1, and another single crochet, all in that same stitch. And then I just single crochet along the bottom side of it. And join with a slip stitch into my first single crochet. Leave a long tail for sewing because this is going to be sewing onto your hat. All right, so I already fastened off my ends. So you remember how I told you to start on the right side, on the bottom right side? So for this next ear, you're going to start on the bottom left side. All right? I promise when you go to sew it onto your hat, it's going to make it so much easier. It's just going to make it easier. That's just my opinion. You don't have to follow my instructions on this part. You do whatever you feel comfortable with, but I promise it just makes your life easier. Just one single crochet along the sides. When you get to that top single crochet, again, remember you're going to work a single crochet, a chain 1, and another single crochet, all within that same stitch. I got caught on something. Now you can do the rest of the bottom. And then slip stitch into your first single crochet and fasten off, leaving a long tail for sewing. So then I take I separate my long tail and my short tail, and I just tie it up. Do 3 little knots, and then close to the knot, cut off the short side so that you're only left with your excess string to sew onto the hat. Do the same thing with the other side. And your ears are done. This is what they should look like. You're going to move that onto the other side or wherever. And the next thing we're going to do is the eyebrows. So you're going to take the sky blue color. This is what it's going to look like. You're going to take your G hook. We're no longer using our H hook. And you are going to chain 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Single crochet in the second stitch from the hook for a total of 7 single crochets. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Chain 1 and turn, and do 1 single crochet in the next 7 stitches. And fasten off, but leave a long tail for sewing. You have to make 2 of these because obviously Bluey has 2 eyebrows. So you're going to have a long string for sewing and then the short string from when you started. So what I do is I sew it to go towards the back. And I just sew it along the little loops, because this back part is going to be sewed up against the hat. So you're not going to see it. You just need to get them out the way. No knots here, just cut. And that's the first eyebrow. I do the same with the second part. And those are your eyebrows for little Bluey. Okay, so now we're going to do our center portion. We're going to take our light blue and our G hook, and we are going to chain 10. And this is just the portion that goes down the middle of the face in between the eyes. I'm going to call it like the bridge. I think that's a good name for it. So once you chain 10, you're going to count down to your third stitch from your hook, and you're going to work a half double crochet into that stitch and one in each of the following stitches, or each of the remaining stitches, better yet said, for a total of 8 half double crochets. Then you're going to chain 2 and turn. Now you're going to work 1 half double crochet in each stitch around, but you're only going to do this in back loops only. All right, so a total of 8 half double crochets, 1 half double crochet in each stitch across, back loops only. And we're going to repeat this throughout the whole bridge because it's just going to give it sort of a textured kind of vibe, I guess. All right, you can see your last one, chain 2 and turn. And again, don't forget, we are working a half double crochet into that same stitch as that chain 2. And you're going to, again, work for this row, 1 half double crochet in each stitch, back loops only, for a total of 8 half double crochets. And we're going to do this for a total of 10 rows. All right, now just give it a count. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Total of 10 rows. Leave a long tail for sewing. And our bridge is complete. All right, so the next is the eyes. This is what your eye is going to look like. We're going to make 2 of them. We're going to use our white and our G-hook. Again, any worsted weight number 4 works. I use the loops and thread that you can find at Michael's. So for the eye, we're going to do a magic circle. Chain 2 and work 12 double crochets into that magic circle. All right, once you've gotten to 12, pull tight your magic circle and join with a slip stitch into your first double crochet. It might be a little tight, but you can get it in there. Chain 2. Now you're going to work 2 double crochets into the next 4 stitches. So 1, 2 in the same stitch, 1 or 3, 4 in the next stitch, 5. You see it's 2 in each one, so 5, 6, 7, 8. Now you're going to work 1 double crochet in the next 2 stitches. And now again, 2 double crochets in the next 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And now you're going to work 1 double crochet in each of those remaining 2 stitches. So 1 and then 1 more. Join with a slip stitch into your first double crochet. Chain 2. Now you're going to work 2 double crochets into the next 6 stitches. So you're going to work a total of 12. 2 double crochets in the next 6 stitches. You're going to start those first 2 in the same stitch as that chain 2. Again, the chain 2 is nobody. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now you're going to work 1 double crochet into the next 4. Let's make sure we have 12. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1 double crochet into the next 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to work 2 double crochets into the next 6 stitches, again for 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And now work 1 single crochet in the remaining 4 stitches. Join with a slip stitch into your first double crochet. And leave a long tail for sewing. And these are your eyes. All right, for black, this is what your little black part of your eye is going to look like. Again, with your G hook, you're going to take your black, any worsted weight number 4 in black will do. You're going to do a magic circle, and we are going to work 12 half double crochets into this magic circle. 12 half double crochets. Pull that magic circle and join with a slip stitch into your first half double crochet and leave a long tail for sewing, because this is going to go sewed onto the white portion of the eyes. And this is how your black eyes should look. So now we're going to sew the black parts onto the white part. You're just going to cut off the back portion of it. Make sure you pull your magic circle really tight and then just cut it off. And let's sew them onto our white parts. Okay, so what I do is I pull the back in the center piece really tight just to tighten up my magic circle with the white portion of the eye. And then I place it sort of on the corner, on the side. So for this particular eye, you see I kind of lean it against that row, the line of that last row, or round, if you want to, say. But it's at a corner. We're not doing the eyes in the center, so to speak. So for this part, we're going to have it be on the side of the right side. So if you're looking at your white portion, you're going to put it towards the right of the center, and you're going to kind of line it up with that last round. And I just sew it all along. And then, so you see it's at a corner. So then I take my long string that I'm leaving for sewing on my white portion, and my center and the black that I used to sew on, I'm just going to tie those up together and fasten that off. And just get it out of the way. So that is one eye that's done. And now we're going to do the same thing with the other eye, except we're going to put it on the left side of the eye. So I'm going to pull the center portion of my white part of the eye just so that it tightens up my magic circle. And we're going to line it up with that last round, but it's going to be on the right side of the white. So right from the center, I should say. And then we're just going to sew that portion on and go around and tie up any loose ends, leaving the long tail for sewing. And I will show you guys how it looks in a minute. All right, so then this is how your eyes are going to look. They're kind of off-centered, facing each other, and that is how your bluey eyes should look. At least that's how I make mine. You see, just like this. All right, so this next part is going to be the snout. You're going to need the gold and your G-hook, and this part can be a little confusing, so if you do need the written portion of it, you will be able to find it on my website. Follow along, pause if you need to. I will try to do this as easy as possible. You're going to work a magic circle and you're going to chain 2 into that magic circle. The chain 2 does not count as a stitch for this part. Now you're going to work 8 half double crochets into that magic circle. Again, that is 8 half double crochets into that magic circle, and you can go on ahead and pause it here until you work those 8. All right, now that you've done your 8, you're going to pull your magic circle tight, close tight, and then you're going to slip stitch into your first half double crochet and chain 2. This next round will be an increase round. You are going to be working the same stitches in that chain 2. You're going to work 3 half double crochets into that same stitch as that chain 2. 1 half double crochet into the next stitch. 3 half double crochets together into that next stitch. And that's the pattern. 3, 1, 3, 1, just like that. So work 1 half double crochet into the next stitch, and now work another 3 half double crochets into the following stitch. Again, the pattern is 3 half double crochets, 1 half double crochet, 3 half double crochets, 1 half double crochet. And that's what you're going to do until you get to your last one, which is going to be a single half double crochet into that last stitch. Join with a slip stitch into your first half double crochet. And then you're going to chain 2. Chain 2. Now you're going to work 1 half double crochet into the next 2 stitches. So 1, 2, and now you're going to work 3 half double crochets in the following stitch. Now you're going to work 1 half double crochet in the following 3 stitches. 3 half double crochets in the next stitch. So for this round, this increase is 1 half double crochet in 3 stitches, 3 half double crochet in 1 stitch. But when you first start, the reason why you start with 2 and not 3 is because at the end, you're going to add that last third one. Now 3 half double crochets into the next stitch. And 1 half double crochet into the last one. Join with a slip stitch and chain 2. This next round is another increase, and you're going to work 1 half double crochet into the next 4 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now you're going to work 3 half double crochets into the same stitch. Now you're going to work 1 half double crochet into the next 5 stitches. So for this one, it's really supposed to be 3 half double crochets, 5 single half double crochets. So 5, 3 and 1, 5, 3 and 1, like that. If that makes sense. If I'm not making sense, I'm sorry. I will write it out in the pattern. I will write the pattern out in the description to make it easier for everyone. So for this snout, the way I started is when you chain 2 and you start, you are going to do 1 less than what you do in the round. So for example, this row, you started with 4 half double crochets, and then you did your 3 in the 1, and then you did 5 half double crochets, 3 and 1, and then at the end, after you do your 3 half double crochets in 1 stitch, you're going to do 1 half double crochet in that last stitch. You're going to join with a slip stitch, chain 2. And this is what it should look like. This next round will be an increase. It's going to be a little different because it's going to be in the back loops only. All right. So you're going to work 1 half double crochet into the next 6 stitches, back loops only. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now you're going to work 2 half double crochets into the same stitch. And now you're going to work 1 half double crochet into the next 7 stitches. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now you're going to work 2 into the same stitch, and now 1 in the next 7. And you're going to continue to do that around. And again, if you have any questions about this portion of it, please feel free to let me know. Sometimes it's easier for me to just do it than talk about it or verbally express the pattern. But I do have it on my website so that you can see what the written version of it is. And I will try my best to remember to put it in the description just so that it doesn't eat anybody up, because I know it could be a little difficult. All right, so you did your last one, and you're not going to join with a slip stitch when you get to your last one. You're just going to fasten off. And now we're going to get our light blue color that we worked on the bottom of Bluey with. And that's what we're going to join. So just join into your first half double crochet. Pull that closed. And chain 1. And just work 1 single crochet in each stitch around. This row is not an increase. We are just going to work 1 single crochet in each row around. And that is just the bottom of the snout that's going to be attached to the face, so to say. All right, so now you're going to join with a slip stitch into your first single crochet and leave a long tail for sewing, because this is what we're going to use to sew on to the main hat. And let's just fasten off any extras. So I'm going to pull aside. This is what your snout is going to look like. I'm going to pull the center part really tight, making sure that it's nice and snug, and I'm just going to cut that off. And then those two portions, the light blue and the gold, the short ones, obviously not the long one, not the light blue long that you're going to sew onto your hat, but the short ones, we're just going to tie those up and fasten those off and get them out the way. And then we're going to move to the last part of any type of facial things that we're doing for this hat, which is the actual nose to put onto the snout. So this is what your snout looks like. It is going to have like a little raised effect to it. You're going to take your darker blue and your G hook, and you're going to chain 7. 5, 6, 7. Now you can hold it there where that 5 is, and on your third stitch you're going to go down and you're going to work 1 half double crochet into the next 5 stitches. So you will have a total of 5 half double crochets. Chain 2 and single crochet together the first 2. Half double crochet together the first 2, half double crochet the next one, and then half double crochet together the last 2. So now you are left with 3 half double crochets. Chain 2 and turn. You're going to half double crochet together the first 2 stitches, and then do a half double crochet in the last stitch. Chain 2 and turn. Half double crochet together those 2 remaining stitches, and fasten off. Leave a long tail for sewing. And this is your little nose part. So now we have to sew it onto the snout. What I do is I like to leave the long tail for sewing. I like to have that to be the top part. All right, so that's going to be on the top. You're going to connect your long part of your tail from your nose. And if you look, I like to line it up with the last round before we do the back loops only. You can line it up wherever you feel comfortable. I just like to line it up against the edge, because then it just makes me feel like I know it's straight. You see I kind of line up the center in between the 2 dots on that bottom part. And I just kind of use the holes to kind of be my guide, so that it's somewhat even. So this edge, line it up with that edge. I leave that little hole in that corner there. I leave it untouched. I go on to the next one and I sew through that. All right. And on this side, you see I have that little corner there too. I'm not going to go in there. I'm going to go in the one next to it. And I'm going to leave that little corner just as empty. So now I'm just going to sew down the nose just to make sure that it's nice and flush onto the hat. I take this part and just sew it in. Now the two dark blues, I'm just going to tie them up just to secure the nose onto that snout area. And this is what your nose looks like. So now you're going to take your hat. And I just want to show you how we're going to place everything. So we have the ears. We have the center kind of nose bridge thing. The eyes. The eyebrows. And the nose snout. So now we have to put it together, right? So you take your base of your hat. You're going to need your threading needle and some scissors. And this is how our hat looks. This is the back of it. And we know that that's the back because we have our tied from our single crocheting around. Turn it forward now. And I like to start with my ears. That's just what I feel most comfortable starting with. So when the string is on the right side, we're going to put that on the left side of the hat. And with the string that's on the left side, we're going to put that on the right side of the hat. This is why I said to sew it in that manner. So now look at your center. That's your first row, your second row. So 1, 2, and we are going to sew it against the edge of the second row. So that line between the second and the third row, that's where we are going to sew the edge of our ear at. And I like to sew it between that part and the edge of row 4. So I take those two rows, rows 3 and 4, and in those rows is where I'm sewing the ear onto. So as you can see, I sew the hat on within those two rows. It just makes it so much easier to have kind of like a guideline. I like to call it like a little bit of how do you say, maybe like a ruler, so to speak, because now you have these lines that are there for you, and now you know exactly where to sew the other ear onto, and that way you know that your ears are sewed on straight. There's nothing crooked about it. You don't have to, guess. You don't have to eyeball it. It's very straightforward. It's going to be within those two rows, within row 3 and 4, against the edge of the line after row 2 and the line after row 4. That is your measurement, like your guide basically, and that's where you're going to sew your ears onto. All right, so you're done with your ears. So I don't fasten off my ears at this point. I just pull the excess yarn to the side and leave that for the very end when I'm done putting all of my accents onto my hat. The next step that we're going to do is sew on the, I guess you would call it maybe the bridge of the nose, the little center part of the face. So make sure that the right side is looking at you. I like to count down 4 stitches, well, 4 rows, not 4 stitches. And I like to sew that up against the 4th row. So the line right after the 4th row is where I'm going to use that guide as my ruler, so to speak. You just want to eyeball it. You want to make sure that once you have it on your 4th row, that it's centered, it's where it needs to be. You're sort of centering it between the 2 ears, just making sure that it's in the middle of your hat and that it just looks straight. You want to sew it on centered and straight. You don't want it getting crooked or anything. So now once you're done sewing it on along that edge of that line, you're just going to continue going around and sewing it. So you see here, I'm just making sure that it's centered and that it's straight. Hold it into place. You can put safety pins to hold it into place if that's what's easier, just so that you know that it's straight. I can pretty much eyeball it and kind of know where I'm going. I've made so many of these hats that I can do them with my eyes closed at this point. And that's all you have to do is just sew it along, and that's it. All right, so now the next part that you are going to sew on is the eyes. So the side with the black part towards the right of the center is going to be on the left side of your hat, and the part with the black part on the left side of the center is going to be on the right side of your hat. Kind of want them facing each other in the middle. And this is how we're going to sew it on. So, do you see that top row where it's sewed on? That's going to be our edge for our eye. Our eye is not going to go above that row. We're going to leave that row empty. And it's going to go slightly on to the blue part. So you're not going all the way in the center. You're just going to kind of put it just on the edge of the light blue part. Because you want that blue part to be seen. And again, we're going to use that line from that one row as our edge. And just sew the eye all the way around. Okay, our first eye is done. And you can see how much of the white part is on that light blue center part, just so you can get an idea of how you should be doing it. Again, this is all personal preference. If you want it more or not even on it, whatever you want. You do it however you want to do it. This is how I do it. This is what I find easy. Again, we're going to leave that row empty. That is going to be our edge. So it's just nice to sort of have a guide of where we're putting everything at. And again, just a little on the blue, not too much, and sew that one on this side. All right, if you have to adjust anything, go on ahead and do that. But this is what you should be looking like so far. Now we're going to work our eyebrows. The eyebrows I do slanted at an angle. I always start with the left side of the hat first. I don't know why. It's really up to you, whatever you feel like doing. All right, so you see that last row that we left empty and that first row? Within those two rows, so within row 4 and 5, we're going to sew the eyebrows on. All right, so I'm going to do them slanted within those two rows. So the last row after the ear and the row on top of that. So rows 4 and 5, that's where I'm sewing the eyebrow on. And you'll see I'm just going to do it at an angle. You see, not too much of a slant, but just a little slant. And now I'm going to work the other eyebrow in the same direction, the same way, slanted within those two rows. So the top of the blue and then the top of the eye. And I try to keep the same distance between the center blue piece and the corner of the eyebrow, just so that it all sort of looks symmetrical. And again, adjust anything that you need to adjust. And now we're going to add the snout part, the snout and nose part, which is the last part for any extras that you're adding on. So for this, I line it up against that single crochet border. So I just make sure that it sits right there. I hold it into place, and then I just follow along that line. So I find what line is across, and I just follow that straight line, sewing it on. And that's it. A tip for the corners, on all four corners, definitely try to stretch it out as much as you can, just so that it does give it that square popped up look that we're going for. All right, I sort of just adjust the nose, well, snout area. Now we're going to turn our hat inside out, and we're just going to tie off all of these loose ends, fasten everything off. I normally just find two pieces that are closest together, tie them up 3 times, and fasten them off. That is all I do. There's no secret to it. There's no way. I mean, I try to make it as pretty as possible, but this is just how it's going to look. And this is what it's going to be. This is all I do. All right. So for the braids, I do 12 strands of each color I'm going to do. And for this size, 6 to 12 months hat, the strands are going to be about 28 to 28 and a half inches long. That's just my preference, but I often get asked how long should the strands for the braids be. I am going to work a total of 3 colors. You can do them one color. You could pick different colors. I'm doing it in the light blue, the dark blue, and the white. You can do it in the only light blue, or you can do it in the light blue, dark blue, and gold. It's completely up to you, your preference. So I just insert my hook into a little hole and pull my light blue down the center. The reason I'm putting light blue in the center is because my ear flap is light blue. That is just my preference. That is what I like to do. You could put them however you want to put them, whatever colors work for you. So now I'm going to find a little hole on the side of the light blue that was inserted, and I'm going to insert my dark blue, and I just pull it through and just even it out so that the strands are even on both sides. And then I'm just going to add the white portion to the other side of my center light blue strands. If you are very well aware of how to braid or this portion of the hat, you don't have to follow along. I get it. It might be tedious to some, but you would be surprised at the amount of DMs and messages that I receive asking me how do they do a braid and for videos and things like that. And I have sent people private videos on how to braid. So I figured I would just include it. So now you separate your strands if you're doing them in different colors, obviously. If you're doing them in the same color, then just separate the same amount of strands. And you're going to work a braid as if you're braiding hair, except you're keeping the color strands separated because we want to have that tri-color kind of look in the braid. Again, if you're following with different colors. If you're going to do it just plain light blue, then you just want to make sure that it's even number of strands so that your braid looks even and uniformed. And you just go on ahead and braid it as you would braiding hair. So now that I get to the bottom, I just want to measure it to see where I did my tie on my first braid. And that's where I'm going to do my tie on the second braid. All you're going to do is take a scrap piece of yarn, loop it around a few times, and then tie them. I like to do 3 little knots, make sure it's nice and tight. And I do that facing the inside of my braid. Again, I'm going to measure just to make sure that it's even and that I did it right. And now I'm just going to cut off any loose ends. Alright guys, here's your Bluey in size 6 to 12 months. I hope you find this playlist easy to follow along. It will include sizes 6 to 12 months, toddler, and child. And as always, if you like my video, don't forget to like and subscribe. I will catch you guys on the next one. Bye.